Hiya, I'm Anya, and today I'm gonna lay something beneficial on you. So why beneficial and not spiritual? Well, because today I want to talk to you guys about meditation and its benefits and how it can help us a lot if we try to incorporate it into our lives. Now, historically, meditation did start off as a spiritual practice, but it's also been the subject of a lot of studies recently, and more studies are finding it has a lot of benefits towards people who uptake meditation in their regular routines and practices. So that's why it's a little bit of spiritual, but it's also just a little bit of beneficial. And you know what? It's always a good thing to be finding ways for us to improve and enhance our lives overall. What I'm not gonna do in this video, I'm not gonna give you a huge history on the entire subject of meditation. Today, what I really wanted to talk about is what meditation is, how it can be beneficial, and the different types of meditation that are available if you're interested in getting into it. This is more for if you've heard about meditation, but you'd like a better idea of where you could get started or even what it is before you get started. So let's dig into a bit more info, shall we? Meditation has been practiced for thousands of years. It's a very ancient practice, and in ancient times, it was also a very spiritual practice. People who utilized meditation were often doing so to calm their minds and their thoughts and connect to their higher or greater selves or even the deities around them. Meditation was a way to silence the mind and work towards connecting beyond the mind. So in that sense, yes, meditation is a spiritual practice. And beyond that, there were also several different types of meditation that were done and used throughout history, which is another reason why I'm not going to cover all of them here, because I want you guys to think about what meditation means to you and what it can be for you in a modern age. So I think it's good to focus on the present as much as we can right now. So again, while meditation has its roots in a very spiritual practice, and it was seen as something that could help one connect to their higher selves and to the great divine around them, the great spirit, whatever word you choose to put there, it's also seen now as a very beneficial and healthy practice to engage in for most people. And this is something that, you know, a lot of studies are looking at right now. I just completed my course in a Master's of Science in Psychology, and I can tell you that there were a lot of discussions about the benefits of meditation, especially mindfulness. And we'll get in a little bit more to mindfulness in a little bit. But just to say that this is something that science is recognizing has a lot of benefits, especially mental health benefits. So let's chat through some of these. Again, I say it a lot. I have a whole video on it, science versus faith. You don't have to choose between the two. But to make sure that people know that I'm trying to be balanced here, I'm actually getting some of this information from the Mayo Clinic online to look at the benefits of meditation and what it's been found to help benefit. So today we can look at meditation as a way to still calm and balance the mind, as a way to gain better insights and clarity in our own thoughts. Because let's be honest, if we look at modern society, we're all a little bit imbalanced in our own heads, right? We're all probably thinking too much, overthinking too much. I know, I'm there with you guys. We're all constantly thinking, what's the next thing we gotta do? Where do we have to be? What's going on? How is this? There is so much fighting for our own attention, and it can make the mind just feel constantly stressed and overwhelmed. There's so much that's going on here. And even the little things that you don't even realize your brain is doing in the background, it's doing so much in addition to you fighting for the attention and focus and where it's gonna go. It's a lot. I can tell you, sitting in my own head sometimes is exhausting. But that is where meditation can come in and really help balance those things out, because it helps you look at what do you need to focus on, what's important. Meditation asks you to calm the mind and focus on something outside of the mind. For some forms of meditation, it's focusing on your breath and just breathing and the deep breaths that you take in. For other meditations, it might be listening to the sounds that you hear, whether it be the natural sounds of rain outside or perhaps a guided meditation. But this helps calm what is sometimes called the monkey mind, because it jumps around from place to place.
There's also the fact that in society today, we all seem to be a little bit addicted to noise. You know, we have to have something on in the background to distract us from our thoughts. The TV, music, the radio. Something has got to be playing because we cannot sit in silence. I don't know what it is. I think it might be that a lot of us are kind of afraid to sit with the thoughts that are coming up for us regularly. And maybe that's why meditation freaks some people out. But actually being able to sit in silence and recognize the thoughts that are coming in and out of your head on a daily basis can help you deal with them a lot better. So again, meditation and being able to work with those thoughts rather than hide from them is really going to be a benefit in our lives.
Let's talk about some of the benefits that people can get from meditation. So, some of the benefits of meditation can include gaining new perspectives on stressful situations, building skills to manage your stress, increasing self-awareness, focusing on the present, reducing negative emotions, increasing imagination and creativity, and increasing patience and tolerance. So a lot of people might look at these benefits and question, well, how is that actually beneficial to me in my own life? A lot of people look at things like creativity and imagination as something that is useful and fun when we're kids, but not so much in our adult lives. And I would argue, no, absolutely not. In fact, I would go so far as to argue that more adults need creativity and imagination in their lives. Through those things, that's how we get the things in life that mean something to us. Through our creativity, that's how novels and stories and poems are written that we connect to, that makes us feel seen and recognized, but that also touches us in deeper ways. It's how we get the films and TV shows that entertain us and make us feel good and make us see life in a different way. These are benefits and blessings to being human. We have a tendency to forget that there's more to being human than just existing in a human body and doing the daily grind, the 9 to 5 and all of that stuff. It's not just work and productivity and logic. There is also the beauty of imagination, intuition, creativity. Meditation can help all of these things, and even enhancing things like your creativity and your imagination might be able to help you gain better insights into work and the things that you are putting out in your daily work life. Further, getting new perspectives on stressful situations can also help you when you're trying to deal with those stressful situations. A lot of times when we're stressed out about stuff, there's so much going on in our heads that we don't even know how to begin to calm down. Taking even 5 minutes to just sit with your breath or listening to the rain can help you calm the mind. And once you calm the mind, sometimes you might find there's a solution there just waiting for you to pluck it out. The way sometimes people say, if you stop thinking about something, the answer will come to you. When you're trying to think of the name of an actor and you just can't get it, if you focus on something else, sometimes it comes right to you because silently your unconscious mind is actually working on it. And sometimes you just gotta let the unconscious take over and do its own background working while you're focusing on something else. So that is a way that meditation can help through stressful situations. Things like self-awareness. A lot of people don't understand the benefits of self-awareness, but being aware of yourself, your own needs, your own desires, and who you are as an individual, where your thoughts have come from, why something is bothering you. This can also help you figure out how to deal with each of these things. So meditation in helping to deal with some of these emotional aspects of being human can be so great and so beneficial. And they're reason one why you should consider getting into meditation. But more than this, meditation can also help with different sorts of mental and even physical conditions. Meditation can help with things like anxiety or depression because these are mental conditions, mental health conditions that often cause a lot of different thoughts to be happening within the mind. Meditation helps to calm the mind. And if we can calm the mind, we can begin to sift through the thoughts. And sifting through those thoughts, looking at them, working through them, dealing with them, can sometimes help us actually begin to overcome the conflicts that we're dealing with. Meditation may also be able to help with things like heart disease or high blood pressure because again, meditation is there to help calm the mind, and when you calm the mind, a lot of times you can also calm the body. Notice that sometimes when your thoughts get overwhelmed, you can start feeling it in your physical body. Your heart might start racing, you might start sweating, your eyes might start twitching, and you might get jittery. You can have a reaction to the stress and anxieties in your life, and that can lead to further health conditions. So meditation can actually help with some of these physical conditions as well. But in addition to saying this, I do also want to say these are serious conditions and we are physical people living in a physical realm. Do not stop taking medication without talking to your doctor. Be aware of yourself enough to get help if you need it. For many people, depression is something that they need medication for. For many people, anxiety is something that they need medication for. It's because sometimes these disorders are also manifestations of chemical imbalances in the brain. In instances like this, medication may be required. The same with things like heart disease and high blood pressure. Sometimes medication is needed to help balance these things out. What we are talking about in instances like this is utilizing meditation as an extra practice around your conditions and disorders and diseases, and it may add benefits along with your medication so that hopefully maybe at some point in the future, if you are able to work with your thoughts or your physical conditions, maybe you can reduce medication or even start to come off of it. We have to put in the work ourselves, but also work with our doctors and understand that medication is often there to help us along as well. So do not take anything without talking to your doctors, and also don't be changing your own medication routines for the sake of doing the one thing unless you talk to your doctor about side effects and consequences as well. So let's talk about different types of meditation, right? Because if you recognize that there are benefits to meditation, you might want to start getting into meditation. And luckily for you, there's actually a lot of different types that you can choose from. Many people, when they think about meditation, they think about, just sitting in a quiet space and just, holding their fingers together, closing their eyes and just or even just not making any sounds at all. Just sitting there complete quiet and just doing this for 20 minutes or more a day. And for a lot of people, I would imagine that sort of puts them off the idea of meditation because they're like, that just sounds so boring. I can't calm my thoughts. But I get it. And while a lot of people do this to practice meditation, A, it's not the only type of meditation. And B, let me just say, the point of meditation is to learn to calm the brain. You are not going to calm the brain the first time you sit down to meditation. You should expect that your thoughts are going to be racing, that you're going to be sitting there going, this is stupid. I have all these things to do. Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing this? But again, meditation is the practice of learning to calm the mind. It does not mean that you are going to calm the mind immediately as soon as you sit down. Like any other thing you want to learn, it takes practice. You're not going to throw the perfect baseball or football the first time you pick it up. It all requires practice. It is the same with meditation. So maybe you start with your 5 minutes of sitting in silence and closing your eyes and just focusing on your breath. Deep inhales, holding, and then deep exhales all the way out. Really feeling it as the air fills and expands your lungs, and then really feeling it when you let all of the air out. Being aware of these physical things that we do as human beings that we're not always conscious of. We're never conscious of the fact that we take breath in, that we have to take in oxygen and replenish it all the time. We don't think about things like this, and yet our bodies do it. We are doing it every second. So this is a matter of slowing yourself down and realizing how essential air is to life. So if you want to start with 5 minutes of doing that, do that. What are you doing in your head? Well, when you start recognizing that your brain is traveling off into what you need to cook for dinner, or, oh no, work is going to be terrible tomorrow. When you start going off into those mental spaces, you say, oh, okay, I recognize that. We will work on it in a little bit. You acknowledge it, and then you let it go. And then come back to thinking about the breaths you are taking in. Again, really just focus on the breathing in through the nose, feeling it in your body and what it does for your body, and then releasing the breath. If you need to focus on something else, you can also focus in on what you would like to invite into your life and into your physical body while you are breathing in, and then what you want to release as you're exhaling. So say you want to invite calm and release worries. Every time you inhale calm, exhale worry. And really let it go as you exhale from your mouth. This is a way, again, to balance and calm the mind and the body together, focusing on one little thing at a time rather than a billion little things all at one time. So that is one form of meditation that a lot of people use and can be very beneficial for some people. But as I said, there are a number of different types of meditation available out there. maybe you would actually like to listen to something. Maybe you would benefit from having someone guide you along through meditation. Well, that is where guided meditations come in. And you can actually find several of them on YouTube. And if anyone is interested, I can also record some videos of doing guided meditations as well. What these guided meditations often do is ask you to close your eyes and focus on the visual imagery. The guided meditations that I've gone to in person are often ones that have asked me to go out into a natural setting, walk through a field, or jump into a river and swim through as though I did not need to come up for air. And while the ones that I've attended have often been spiritual in nature, that were asking me to look at some inner conflicts that I was dealing with, or commune with a deeper part of myself or my deities, there was a spiritual aspect to it. That does not necessarily mean that a guided meditation has to be spiritual in nature. A lot of times these guided meditations are just asking you to use your inner vision, your third eye as your eyes are closed, and visualize something that's happening. So it's giving you something visual to focus on as opposed to just focusing on the breath. If you're someone who is more visual and more auditory, then guided meditations might be beneficial for you if you feel like you would really struggle to just focus on your breath and the silence around you when you're trying to meditate. There are also mantra meditations. Now, this is something that I think we also are familiar with if we look at meditation as how it's portrayed through the media. So that might be the ones where someone is sitting and they're repeating something like Om. This is something that we see in some ways stereotypically through television, film, things like that. It is still a valid form of meditation, but what this does, this mantra, it is asking you to instead focus on your voice and the accompanying thoughts and visualizations that that mantra that you were saying focuses on. So maybe you have a personal mantra that you can say within your inhalations and your exhalations. If intaking calmness and exhaling worry does not suit you, then maybe just repeating the phrase calm, calm, in the same way we would see someone saying Om. You have to decide what is the word of power and concentration for you. It's a way that can help you connect to your own inner sense of well-being and peace through your own voice. So if you are a more vocal person and you feel that hearing your own voice can help you concentrate on the mindset you're working to achieve, go for it. Absolutely. I know that I said that meditation doesn't have to be part of your spiritual practice, but it is something that I love about spiritual practices. They are unique to what you as an individual needs. And it's the same thing here with meditation. If it would be beneficial for you to visualize something and listen to someone else so you can visualize something better, that's a way to concentrate and bring in your mind and calm your mind and body. If you need to speak and utilize your voice, there's a way to do that too. It's sort of this beauty of some of these practices. There's also moving meditations. If you have ever gone to a yoga class and done your poses and struggled through it, you also will probably have heard your instructor, your guide, speaking to you throughout the process, not just telling you the positions to take and the moves to make, not just coming by and walking and helping you ease into those positions more, but also a lot of times saying phrases and words and mantras to think about as you are standing in your poses, to think about the strength of your body and how you feel in each pose, to sink into the discomforts and feel them so that you will feel the relief when you come up from them, but to also recognize that in the discomfort is also where your strength is increasing. If you feel like you would benefit from meditation where you move, consider doing some yoga poses to your own ability and benefit. Don't be trying to do inversions or, camel pose or anything like that if you are not able to. Sometimes you just need to sit in child's pose for a little bit, and maybe that would be helpful. But again, listen to your body and what you need. But just to say that if moving and keeping your body here and focusing on what your body is doing can help you achieve a calmer state of mind, if you're a more physical or active person, then again, there is something for you as well. The last one I want to talk to you a little bit about is mindfulness. And I want to talk to you about this one because this one is actually the one that I've seen a lot more studies coming out on recently, especially in the psychological field. Now, mindfulness it can be a meditation, but it's also a way of life. So mindfulness asks you to call attention to what you're doing in your present moments throughout the day. So being actively present as you work through your day and your daily activities, being present when you are working, not constantly thinking about what happens next, what you need to do, and all of the billion things, but coming back to the moment and just being here in the moment. This can be beneficial if you start feeling like your mind is starting to go into a more stressful, anxious, or overwhelming place. You can just sit. You sit for a moment and recognize where you are. This can be done in a number of ways. Grounding is something that a lot of people do, such as looking around with your senses. What can you touch? What can you see? What can you smell? What can you taste? What can you hear? And coming back to yourself and your own senses can help ground the anxious and overwhelming thoughts that occur that can turn into really overwhelmed emotions as well. But mindfulness is beneficial also in terms of eating, being present in a meal. Mindfulness has been seen to also be helpful in helping with things like eating better and even dieting. Not so much in cutting back foods and limiting yourself, but really having the experience of enjoying your food. A lot of times we can get so caught up in just what we're eating and just constantly eating more and more and more without really enjoying or savoring the food that we're eating. Mindfulness can help with that. It asks you to sit there and enjoy your meal, savor the tastes, chew slowly, and really taste the food that you're eating, and enjoy the experience. Mindfulness asks us to slow down and pay attention to where we are in the moment. Even if in the moment all we are doing is sitting in our bed watching YouTube videos. Recognizing the feelings that we are feeling. Do we feel relaxed? Do we feel calm? Where is there tension in our body? Where can we release the tension? Release them shoulders, guys, because I can tell you my shoulders are killing me, so I imagine they're killing you too. But mindfulness calls our attention to ourselves, and then from that recognition of where we are in the present moment, we can address the things that we can address. Mindfulness can be a meditation, but it can also just be a way to practice living life. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea about what meditation is, how it can be beneficial to us, and the different ways it can help us both mentally and even physically, but also recognizing that there are so many different types of meditation, and there's bound to be one out there that can help you live a more calm, balanced, or maybe mindful way. Anyway, if you guys have any more questions, or if there's anything more you'd like to see from me, if you'd like some guided meditations of your own, please let me know and I'll be happy to work on them. Thanks, guys. Anya out. Bye.